Alright, here is my 2008 Vstar 1100 Custom, and we are going to show you on the Vstar how to change your oil filter. Not too bad of a process, more annoying than most bikes. Your oil filter is internal, so it's right in here. In order to get to it, you have to pull your pedal down, pull off your mufflers. I happen to have Cobra slip-on aftermarket mufflers, but it's pretty much the same thing, so you're going to figure out how to do that. And then you take your one exhaust pipe off the front cylinder. So what you're going to need is a ratchet set. Since we're working with a Japanese bike, everything is metric. Okay, so what you're going to have to start with, you're going to need an 11mm, and that's to take off the straps for the muffler. You're also going to need a 12mm, which is for exhaust points, which will take off the front part of the exhaust. You will also need our 15mm, which will help us take off our brake pedal. And you will also need an Allen key set. Alright, so let's start with disassembling our brake pedal. So what you're going to need is your 15mm socket. And it's located right here, these two 15mm bolts that you want to loosen and take out, which will allow you to not have to completely disassemble the pedal, but you can allow it to hang down, and this is to later let you get the pipe out. So let's undo these bolts. Alright, so when you take them both out, you should probably label them so you know exactly where they go back. You can kind of just let your pedal sort of hang there. This will allow you, when we get to it, to pull your exhaust pipe out. Alright, so the next step is to take off your mufflers. Now I have Cobra slash pipe aftermarket mufflers. It's the same concept as your stock. You still have an Allen screw right there, and on the top you have a bolt or 15mm socket you can get to. Now since I'm not taking off my top and only my bottom, I don't need to access this 15mm 15mm bolt. But if you have your stock pipes, you would have to take this bolt off in order to slide both top and bottom muffler off. So right here I will take my Allen key and I will undo this bolt. So now that this Allen key screw is pulled out, the pipe is now loose, and the only thing that's going to be holding on your muffler now is your fastener. And what this does is you unscrew this, not all the way, just a little bit, and it loosens the strap around your pipe. That way that you can slide your muffler out. So now using an 11mm wrench, I was able to loosen my fastener, and see I didn't take the bolt all the way off, just enough that this is loose. So the idea is, what you're going to want to do, since you most likely have your stock exhaust, and this bolt will be off, and you will have also loosened this fastener, the whole unit will come out as one. You're going to slide it very, very carefully out all evenly at the same time. I'll just slide right off the pipes. Okay, so now that our brake pedal is loose and our muffler is off, the only thing holding the rest of our exhaust pipe in are these two 12mm bolts. One here, one here. These screws are just for this cap, which does not remove. So you want to just take this bolt and this bolt off with a 12mm ratchet. What's going to happen is your pipe will loosen up. You have to very, very carefully, if you don't want to scratch it up, maneuver it through your frame, through your brake pedal, and out. And it'll completely come out of the bike. So now that our 12mm bolts are now off, there's one, there's two, we're going to have to pull the pipe out and pull it off the bike. So now, at this point, you should have already drained all your oil by undoing your bolt underneath, and we should be good to go. So now what we want to do is take our oil panel off, which is not this as much as you would like to believe. It's the entire piece that wraps around from here to here, all the way down and back up. Now we have a few bolts. This is just your vanity plate. You don't want to remove this. I mean, you can, it doesn't matter, it doesn't do anything. You have this guy, this, and then one underneath here. So to remove all 5 of those. So once you've taken the last bolt out, you can then remove your panel, which will then show you where your oil filter is. There should be this little gray panel right here. Now see, I already had a little bit of leakage. What you're going to want to do, or a good idea to do, is that when you remove this piece, is to put tin foil all along here, to protect everything from the oil and to let it run off and not get your bike all oily residue. Fortunately, I had to clean my bike after a 500-mile trip to Niagara Falls. It's pretty dirty, so I'll be washing it right after this. And now I laid a little bit of tin foil down just to keep the oil from getting all over my bike. And now, unfortunately, what had happened to me the first time I did this, I got real frustrated with this cap and it wouldn't come out. So angrily, I put a screwdriver in there and tried to pry it out, and then broke off a piece of the panel. So, in order for you not to do the same thing, I would suggest you use something like pliers. And what you could do is, you grab it kind of right in the center, or right here, and pull, so you're evenly pulling. Just be careful when you do this. So once you pull it out, that's where all the oil will go. Okay, a very important note about pulling this filter plug out. That when you pull it out, you want to remember which way it came out because of this hole. Now this hole is what allows the oil to go through the filter. And you want it to match up with the hole that's right, let's see if I can get it. That's right in there, in the actual oil filter piece. So just take care to remember how exactly you pulled the plug out so that you can put it back in the correct way. And now the next thing we have to do is pull the oil filter out. Oh, look at that. Nice and gross. Oil filter's out. And then we're going to want to put our new one in. Now I like to use my KN 145 filters, which is this nice little guy here. You just end up doing sliding it right in the slot, and then you put everything back you should be good to go. Also, a good thing to do is, when you pull this out, is to check your O-rings. Make sure that they're still good and ready to go, and not looking like they've been destroyed and won't hold the suction in. So now when you're done putting your new filter in, all you have to do is grab all the components, make sure that you put everything in very carefully, and it'll go right back in just the way you took it out. And then you can pour your oil back in. I tend to use AMSOIL 20W50, it's good motor oil. You should be ready to ride again. Now you should be able to start her up. She should be able to run great.